Thursday, October 27th. Disturbed, Zachary decided to show the photographs to Ash. During lunch at the coffee house, they briefly discussed Zach's sister before the topic veered on the photos. Refusing to believe his friend Ashton advised him to talk to Andrew instead. That's like seriously, he's that, like, I know what Zach said was hurtful, particularly, like, the bringing up Isabella, but, like, he needs to understand that this is very real. Of course it is. Like, there's no doubt about that. But, like, he needs to realize that there's more to the world, especially now, than his fucking case. I don't see his face when he leaves, and it is only when the store's bell chimes again do I breathe. Hello, leper. Of all the places, it never crosses my mind I'll end up wandering into a public library today, considering I rarely ever visited. It's a fucking nice public library. Fuck, man. Somehow there always been this kind of disconnect between me and books in general. Sure, some of them held my attention in my youth during the brief times of the day I was left on my own with nothing to do. I went through the whole of Grant's collection, as a matter of fact. Read all of them twice or thrice even. But they never did hold it for long. Most of it never even sticked. Especially after I learned it's simply easier to do things myself if I want to learn stuff. So he's a kinetic learner. I think that's what I don't know how to pronounce it. This ain't the plan in the first place. But after that argument, I really don't have any other choice. What was the update? Oh, wait. Okay, these are just like, yeah, okay. Alright. Zach's story is super long. Like, geez, wow. Nothing but quiet greets me inside, though. Not the typical mom one would associate with a library, but one akin to a harsh prior to an impending trouble. Or perhaps I'm just overthinking again. I really like to think I'm just thinking too much about this. That this is just the lack of sleep talking. Regardless, apart from a group of students murmuring in a corner somewhere, the place is free and its usual visitors. All of my footsteps echo in a manner unsettling enough to raise the hairs at the back of my neck. Much to my relief, it does not take me long to find him, being the only occupant in this side of the room. Professor Andrew Clark. I've never personally met the man, but Ash has spoken highly of him several times. In fact, he is Ash's go-to guy when something's troubling him with a case. My steps are unsure as I approach. At any rate, he greets me with a warm smile, like a grandson he hasn't seen in a long time.
Ashton's friend, I take it. Zachary. You'll have to forgive this old man if I don't get your name right.
Oh no, you got it. It's Zach. Zachary Steele, Professor Clark.
He gestures at the empty seat across the table while he returns his books. The next couple of minutes pass in relative silence as he continues to read and take notes from the pile he's accumulated on the table. Maybe I should have taken a book first before heading here. Before I can even get far into the idea, the professor clicks the book shut and sets it atop the stack next to him.
Ashton told me you were hoping to get answers from me.
At my confused look, he lets out a small chuckle. Okay. Alright. Yeah, it's, since I've made choices in the past, it's like making me go in a certain route, I guess.
He sent a message ahead. A friend needs to have some sense knocked into him. In verbatim.
Oh my God.
That boy never changes.
I wasn't really expecting he'd do that.
Although I'm not quite sure what I could share, I'll do my best to help.
Of course, there are a lot of things I want to ask. How do we get out of this mess in the first, among hundreds of concerns in my head? But in the presence of someone I barely know, the thought won't easily form. He's nothing but patient, however, with enough time to mull over a question finally forms.
Do you believe in the paranormal, Professor?
It's supernatural, actually. Don't worry, it's a common mistake to make, but they really are two different things. The other one deals with what we can't explain at the moment, while the other are things we may not have an explanation to.
I guess that makes sense.
Here.
He places a couple of papers in front of me, the very same one he was writing on earlier. A study of Luxborn's supernatural culture is in a nutshell.
A friend of mine wrote that a few years ago. He took interest in the city after reading about the stories. I have to agree with him here. Even stories dealing with things you don't see with the naked eye can be rife with culture, and this city thrives on it. Just ask the locals.
Like ghosts, for example.
Among other things. The interpretation has changed over the years, though. Various religions, for example, have their own version. It might not always be a spirit now. It could be a memory, or an imprint, an echo, so to speak. Some are born from curses, even, out of great anger, hatred, or pain.
Well, this bitch is a demon, so she ain't a memory, imprint, or echo, I can tell you that.
There was this one story. Here it is.
Another book is pulled out from the stack and placed open atop the papers. While he speaks with such passion that it makes me wonder if some part of him believes these to be true. See, at least I appreciate that this professor is a lot more open-minded than Ash with his Ash Toll. So yeah. It is interesting, though, even if I'm personally not a fan of such stories. And soon hours pass without my notice.
In the end, it asked for something to be sacrificed in order to destroy whatever anchors the wraith. A sad tale, that one. But the simplest grudge can bring the ugliest, even in the kindest person, with some people none the wiser. Oh, I'm sorry. I just went on.
Nah, it's good. Are you familiar with the Ermengarde Mansion, though?
Of course. That goes without saying. Who hasn't heard of the local legend? Although, word of the mouth is, someone has already bought it.
Ah, yeah. The right couple. It was a close friend who handled that sale.
So I heard. Well, don't think the house being bought by anyone would stop us from talking about it. What is it about the mansion, then?
I just want to ask what you think of it, sir.
We're going to need more than an afternoon for that, young man. You see, it's the kind that has changed over the years, passed down from one person to the next. Sometimes, it's the Lord William who haunts the place. Sometimes, it's the Lord William who haunts the place. There are versions where it's the lady of the house. But my favorite, a personal favorite, would have to be the ones that followed after the disappearance of the kind daughter.
Well, what about these then?
There's a moment of hesitation on my part before I pull out Miss Wright's photos and lay them all in front of him. Unlike Ash, though, the professor inspects each print with a great interest. That gives me some hope, at least.
When were these taken?
Need some advice. Achievement.
Just the other day. Do you think those are the same?
Perhaps. Perhaps not. There were certainly instances when the film would pick up what the human eyes weren't able to see. But then, it could also have been human error.
I didn't edit it in any way. You have my word on that, Professor. They all just came out like that.
Then, if it is what you're thinking, I'd strongly advise against doing something reckless and further tangling with them. Accounts about them may be riveting to you, but most of it often ends in an unpleasant manner.
What about those people in the house? If there is something in there, shouldn't they know? I'm sure they're already familiar with the legends, but
Some people might deserve it, however.
deserve what, sir?
Ooh! All of a sudden, the tenderness in the professor's eyes disappears, his face becoming unreadable. As though catching himself, he hastily clears his throat, gathers his books, and rises from his seat.
Professor?
I'm sorry. I just remembered something I neglected to do. You'll have to excuse me, Zachary.
All right. Do you need any help with that?
Don't let my looks fool you, son. I can still carry a few hundreds. I've been doing this for years. I'll see you some other time if you have any other questions.
Of course. It was nice knowing you, Professor.
He doesn't hear it, however. In a few short strides, he's out of the library, leaving me every piece of this whole mess amidst the optimistic stillness. So at least that went better. A little better than Ash. Zachary met with Professor Andrew Clark at the library. The professor shared a few of his favorite stories about the city, including a friend's research about its urban legends. When Zach showed Hannah's distorted photos, the professor only warned him not to be reckless and that some people deserve what's coming for them. I just, you have to realize that Hannah she's innocent in this situation. It's obvious from the weird intro song title thing in the beginning that the husband is demented. Something's wrong with him. And yeah, Luke is just fucked up in his own right. And Hannah has no idea. And yeah. Despite the answers gleaned, more questions surfaced. Is there even a single way of this? I hope we find it soon. The moon is well into the night sky by the time I make it back home. My heavy treads and the sound of traffic outside echoing in my ears, filling the empty room with some semblance of life. Nana would scold me if she ever hears me walk like that. But after today, I really can't give a damn about anything. The mattress creaks under my weight as I unceremonially flop down on it, and I find myself looking at the paper under my grip. An invitation and a request to cover an event, the Wright's housewarming party tomorrow evening. Sweet invitation, bro. Anyway. If only it was that easy and it'll give me a chance to talk to her about that thing in the house. With a sigh, I let my hand fall to the side of the bed along with the invitation. I'll think about it tomorrow when my head ain't muddled with thoughts of headless women and the haunting smile of a ghost. Belatedly, it occurs to me that the last meal I ate had been the one with Ash. An empty, gnawing ache makes itself known, but I can't bring myself to stand up. Today was a complete waste of time and, frankly, a disappointment. I don't like this. The lack of certainty, the disquiet, the lack of stable ground to stand on, the part where I do not know what will come tomorrow. Ever since that damn letter, everything has been thrown out of the loop. I wish everything stayed the same. Routine would have been easier to make sense of than this. Yeah. Closing my eyes, I let the noise of the streets below lull me to sleep. At the very least, that's the one thing that hasn't changed. October 29th, Saturday. Another nightmare. The melody carries into the hall long before I cross the threshold. Solemn but gentle and soothing, a reminder of what home is. Pa's firm but meaningful gaze, Ma's wistful smiles, and the warm rays filtering through the eaves at sunset, and the distinct smell of wet earth and leaves after a long day's rain in our room. The room, Ma and Pa's pride and joy, a place we were once promised several springs ago. Yet, Yet it won't stop.
No, wait! Come back! I'll be good this time!
That scared the shit out of me.
Please don't leave! Please stay!
The floorboards are cold under my feet more than it usually is. The walls are forbidding than what I'm used to. Further and further the room goes. My singing ceases in Pa. Can't hear Pa. Not above the ruckus clanging and deafening roar of gunshots, nor the screams are replacing the comfort soft melodies. There's only the blinding fear, and then the light breaks. Ooh, shit! Her skin has already taken a sickly pale color, rotten in most parts, blood dripping from every open gash and loosened on her body. Bony hands grip Hannah's neck like a noose, staining the skin underneath the vibrant shade of scarlet. Nothing but malice fills the gleam in her eyes. Jesus. A scream ripples through the air. Ooh, we about to get scared. My whole body feels distant. Every limb heavy with lead, all unable to move it well. Not even as I wipe the beads of sweat forming at my temple. The rasping of my breath easily fills the room in the wee hours while I force it back into a steady rhythm. There is a tightness in my chest and I can't shake off, my heart pounding against it as if it's about to burst out. Something cold has settled in my legs. Not the usual chill that comes and goes with the passing breeze from the window, but one strong enough to sting, shackle, and leave a frigid sensation creeping up my skin. Phone calls, yo. With each struggle I make, pressure winds firmly around my legs. Tighter and tighter and tighter until it becomes too much. I don't like this. My heart stops. Another draft sweeps into the room and brings with it the iron tang of blood, thick, suffocating. Filling my nose with foul, sickening smell till I shift my gaze downwards and it slowly comes into view. Oh, look at this jump scare. Oh, hi, bitch! How are you? Are you going to perform a blowjob? Because that seems like what you want. Mouth stretched in a hideous smile and brings nothing but madness. The stench of gore taints the air around me and I can't look away from it. Her, from the terror and death that her uncanny twisted features alone scream. I try to open my mouth to shout, to ask for any help, but my voice has left my body altogether. All I have is a painful realization that no kind of plea will ever save me from her. And suddenly the bed dips. Oh, fucking hell. I'm okay. I'm alright. I'm okay. I'm alright. Right? Right? Okay. Alright. Cool, bro. Alright. Terrifying. The brutal plunge back into myself jerks me awake. There's no air-splitting scream, no mild thrashing of limbs. Just a painful, constricting awareness that whatever was wound itself tightly around my neck. I waste no time pulling it and blink it away, but allow myself a few minutes to steady my breath before getting off the bed. I swear to God, if he has fucking bruises on his legs... Inhale, hold, exhale. 1 step, 2 step, 3. But the dreams have gotten worse. Ever since 2 days ago, no longer are they the same cursory flashes that I'm used to, but vivid ones that linger. I can still feel the blood in my hands, the putrid smell of rotting flesh, the sickening crunch of bones breaking with every movement, and her cold, chilling eyes as they bore into me. I draw in one long, rugged breath, and before I know it, I'm walking out the door. Even to the waking world, it reeks. Alright. A bench on the park is far from the most private place for thoughts and Luxembourg, considering its location at the heart of the bustling city. but in early hours of the morning provides enough peace and quiet for any poor, problematic soul who happens to wander here. The city just waking up a little later than usual. But knowing what day it is, one can't fault it for being a little tardy just this once. Yet neither the pleasant morning chill nor the soft twittering of birds does anything to banish the images. Every single one has rotted itself in my head, its claws digging deep in what's no longer a safe place to hide in.
London Bridge is falling down, falling down,
Oh,
falling
God,
down.
this is a creepy
London
child,
Bridge
isn't
is
there?
falling down, my fair lady.
You are very distracting.
Take a key
Oh my
and
God,
lock
stop
him up,
singing.
Lock him up, lock him up. Take a key and lock him up, my fair lady. London
Oh my God, I
Bridge
need
is
to take my
falling
headphones
down,
off because I
falling
can't listen
down,
to her
falling
read.
down.
It used to be easy finding some penance, a peace under the guise of sheer optimism, knowing the regular routine. Now I don't know what to make of it. Sometimes it's easier to run, easier to hide when everything's falling apart. That way you don't have to be the first to witness it when it's done. It works when things get bad with the movie after all. It also worked when Mom and Pa were taken from us. Maybe it really is better if I just...
Hey, mister.
Oh, Lord. Hello, cute child. A tiny voice gives me a pause. When I look up, a little girl, maybe about 6 or 7, is peering at me. 2 wide eyes flowing with what can only be a natural curiosity one typically sees in a child. I vaguely note that the Saint Grado uniform she's wearing before returning her greeting.
Hey, kid.
Kylie.
Kylie?
That's my name.
Oh my God, you're so cute!
Mama said it's rude not to call people by their names.
Then she flops down the empty space beside me. Her little legs, still too short to touch the ground, swings in tune with the song she hums under her breath. I don't mind kids. Nana would often invite the ones in our neighborhood to give them treats. Of course, by then, Sis and I both too old to play with them, but you get used to the commotion eventually. It's not completely as unpleasant as most people would imply. Kylie seems to be a very well-behaved kid anyway.
Oh, sorry. Nice to meet you, Kylie. Is Mama here?
No, but my big brother's with me. He's taking pictures with his camera over there.
He points to the far end of the park, the one closest to the street where a kid is taking shots of something above him. It doesn't look to be birds because all there is on the side of the park are buildings.
I don't see what's so interesting with the tip of a building, though. I'd take pictures of dogs if I were him. They're cute. Do you have a camera too, mister?
Yeah, I'm actually a photographer.
Mama said I'm too young to get a camera.
I'm sure your mama will eventually give you one. But won't you be late for school like this?
Big brother will get us there on time. Rowan promised Papa. We aren't going to be late. It's sports day. So it's not good if you keep looking like that today. If it ends up raining and we lose, it's your fault.
Whoa!
All right, I'll try not to upset the clouds today, kid.
Is it because you're sick, mister?
Before I know it, a smile is spread over my face. They say kids ask the toughest questions sometimes, and they sure do, with how sincere Kylie looks. Lying feels like doing her a huge disservice.
No, not sick. Just having a very, very bad day.
Why is that? Is that like when my big brother ate all of my pudding? He did that once and then cried. It wasn't very nice of him.
Yeah, I think so. You see, there's this mean girl. She's given my friends and I a lot of trouble. I even got in a fight with my best friend because of her. Hard to keep up when things are like that, you know? Especially when you can't do anything. It's kind of scary. Makes you wish things will just stay as peaceful as they used to be.
Maybe she just wants to be friends with you?
I highly doubt that. She already hurt one of my friends.
What if she's just sad? Or maybe she just wants help.
That makes sense, though. Still a long way to fucking go. Alright.
That's what happened with Melody. I let her borrow my crayon when she left hers. Now we're playmates.
It's not really the same thing, Kylie. What she did, they're pretty bad things.
I still think there's another reason. Did you try talking to her? That's what Mama said I should do.
I don't think that'll work either.
You haven't even tried yet. You sound like Rowan. You're just scared, mister.
That strikes a chord. Maybe it's the honesty in her tone or simply the truth in the word itself. I don't know why, but I can't help it. I laugh. Loud enough to disturb an elderly couple taking the leisure walk nearby.
Why are you laughing?
That's nothing. You're a really smart kid, you know that?
That's what I've been doing, and I go full speed ahead then backtrack when the goes gets tough. Stay in my safe zone because that's what I know. Once Dr. Navarro said I should be the first one willing to deal with my problems before anyone else. I didn't show up on our own appointment after that, but he's right. Though I hate to admit it, knowing what I've seen, but the kid makes a good point too. I've been too caught up thinking there might not be a way out. Maybe there isn't, or maybe there is, but that doesn't mean I should just leave it up to fate. Aren't spirits supposed to be humans before too? The people, they cared about living a life of their own, smiling and laughing, just the rest of us does. Do you really lose all of it after death?
You better get to school, though, or you'll miss sports day. You should have won yourself some awards, alright?
Alright. Can I show it to you when I do? That can cheer people up, right?
In the distance, her brother calls for her, and I look as a sign to leave. Got things to do, face the first few times, they say.
Nah, I'm good now, I think. Thanks to you. Besides, Mister needs to go. But you should show it to Mama and Papa. I'm sure they'll be proud of you, Kylie.
I will. Thanks, mister. Bye.
I give her a little pat on the head before heading my way. A small gesture of thanks from a stranger she didn't know she might have helped. She may not understand it now, even though at such a young age she already has this understanding of things, and maybe when she's older. When the world no longer seems too big for her.
But aren't you going to help me, mister?
Oh god, this is terrifying.
With what?
Confused, I glance back. Really, you manipulate a child. That's very mean of you. Whatever cheer our little child bought has vanished under the shadows suddenly dancing in my eyes. The frigid air is most definitely not how the morning chill should feel, like bitter, stinging, unwelcome. And the kid?
What do you think, mister? Are you going to help me?
Do you want help, bitch?
What do you want from us?
The response never comes, however, because when I blinked, gone.
Hello? Mister? Are you okay?
For several passing seconds, I let my stare linger on her face, waiting for any sign of another change. But all that remains is their carefree smile of a child, none of the spite, none of the cold, bloody smile.
Nothing. I really need to go, Kylie. It was nice meeting you.
See you again, mister!
I break into a run. I don't look back, not even as I bump into a couple of passerbys. As soon as I'm out of the busy streets, going insane, this is what it is. And if we don't do something soon, we all will be. Doop-a-doo. Oh, okay, so this is the entry right before Hannah gets possessed. Zachary's nightmares become worse with each passing day. To help clear his mind of unwanted things, Zach took a visit to the park. There he met little Kylie, a precious young girl studying at St. Gorati, yeah. I'm gonna be honest, these little drawings, I like them a lot, not just because they're really nice and pretty and shit. They're very much like my style, I think. I'm trying to find a style, but they're very sketch-like, and I like that style, and I do a lot of pencil work and line art and shit. I'm not much of a shader person, if that makes sense. Like, you see the lines on the laptop, I do a lot of that. So yeah, I appreciate everything about this little sketching art. Look at those little babies, look at them. Yeah. Oh, speaking of this little drink here, I actually talked to my mom about it, and I didn't recognize it or something. So I asked my mom what it was, and she said, yeah, it's like some kind of old like fashioned drink that like they drank in the 1800s, and people don't drink it anymore because it does cause hallucinations. So there's that to think about. So yeah. Alright. The tremors follow me even as I get home. I just hoped a little stroll around the block for a few hours would help. Instead, I am assaulted with more images of her smile, the loathing in her eyes, the stench of gore, the horrid crunch that comes with every movement she makes. Even old memories have been soiled by her, and Ma's song no longer sounds as sweet as it meant to be. In the end, all I got is a sinking feeling. I will never be rid of her image in another ridiculous idea that may or may not even work. The sun is already hanging low on the horizon. I totally skipped that. And for the first time, coming home feels more like a chore. Only I didn't arrive to an empty room. Because as soon as I open the door, I'm greeted by none other than...
Sup, Z-Man?
Oh, God.
I told you we should have called him before going here.
It's fine.
Oh, Lordy May. Is Ash. I see her sitting comfortably on my couch, munching a bag of chips with both feet propped atop the... bitch, you have no right to do that after, like, flipping your bitch on me. Whatever preferable stone is made at home at the pit of my stomach automatically flies right out the window at the sight of him. But before any aspiration can set in, my attention is taken by the other occupant in the room. Isabella perches on the only other chair in the room, attempting to make herself smaller, it seems, from how closely she's hugging her arms against her. Nevertheless, she gives me a small smile when she notices my stare. Yet somehow there ain't any warmth in it like it's supposed to have.
Hey, Zach. Sorry we just barged in here. Ash was...
Relax. Z-Man gave me a copy of the key himself.
I'm gonna look at the branching tree and then I'm gonna save. Yeah. Because I need to probably save more than usual.
Only after you broke the 13th one? I can't keep replacing them every time you think it'd be a good idea to break into my apartment. And stop calling me Z-Man!
I didn't break anything this time.
Ash, just because I gave you a key doesn't mean you can just stroll in here whenever you want to. And, hey, is that my...
Ash smirks at me because, of course, he has the goal to smirk knowing what he did. He pops in what's very likely last piece of chip into his mouth and folds the wrapper neatly on the table before throwing it in the nearby trash. From her chair, Isabella shoots me an apologetic smile as soon as the foil hits the waistband with a dull thunk. Common sense dictates that I should be angry. But after everything, despite things yet to straighten out before it blows up in our face, having something normal play out in front of me, no matter how childish their antics can get, I can't bring myself to muster even a tidbit of it. Behind me, the TV starts blaring music for the end credits of a movie. They have likely been waiting for a while. Vash has gotten impatient enough to rummage through my cupboards and watch something.
Of course he eats all of it. You know, I was saving that for the weekend. Did you at least share some with Bella?
Don't worry about it. I'm good, Zach.
Really? But it's free food, you know? What was that you usually say? You don't say no to free food? What happened?
No, I'm just not hungry.
Ash only shrugs at the question in my eyes. I can't be the only one who finds this vibe she's given off to be odd, and the guy has no doubt already caught wind of it.
Aye. But if you want something, just say so. I've got a fully restocked pantry right here at your disposal. Still not a 5-star level thing, but for an empty stomach, it'd do. Just say the word.
Thanks, Zach. Maybe next time. Food is not really what we came here for. Ash, he's the one who...
She casts a brief glance at Ash, and in an instant he sits up. Every trace of amusement is gone from his face as he clasps his hand in front of him and leans forward. A minuscule gesture meant to ease, yet the grim expression on him tells a different story altogether.
All right, you two, what's this about? I don't like those looks. If this has something to do with the other day, I really am sorry about that. It was rude, and I didn't mean for it to come out that way.
A short but tense pause follows. They're both stalling. Under normal circumstances, I'd wait. With these two, the more you force it, the more they'll clamp down on it. But as a handful of seconds continue to slip by, the unsettling feeling in me also grows with it. Soon it turns into impatience. Before I can demand a response, though, one of them finally speaks up. It is Ash who first breaks it.
No, don't apologize. I should have listened.
Yeah, thank you! Thank you!
How is everything with you lately, Zach?
Hold on, Ash. Both of you. Did I just hear you say that? Is this why Isabella's here? Has something happened?
Calm down, we're just here to check on things. So, did you meet Andrew about the photos?
What photographs?
Said photographs have been sitting untouched since that day I dumped them in my drawer. Isabella goes very still when I hand her the small stack. To her credit, she does not flinch like I'm expecting her to do, and flip each one of it in silence, while her eyes remain strangely calm. Her hands have gone rigid and her mouth is set into a thin line. She, out of all people, understands what this means. In hindsight, she should have been the one approached before Ash.
What did Andrew say about them?
It could be one, but there's no guarantee it's a supernatural thing. It doesn't always happen, so that's a dead end right there. Now that I think about it, bothering that guy for this feels pretty silly now. But with the dreams lately...
That's all? Did he say anything about the damn letter at all? Did you ask him even?
Pause, glancing at him skeptically. I don't know where this sudden curiosity is coming from. But if Ash, calm, collected, always logic Ash, takes interest in this, something or someone must have fucked shit up somewhere. Or the world is ending. Seconds pass. The apocalypse I'm expected to go along with doesn't arrive, however.
Yeah, that's really everything. The letter kind of slipped my mind. The photos were more important at that time. There was some stuff about the local horror stories, though. Talked about the curses, and he was really fascinated with the story about a wraith asking for a sacrifice to move on. Kinda nasty if you ask me, but it does make sense if you simply go along with it. I'm not sure how this will help in the grand scheme of things. Why are you asking about this anyway?
Rose's death isn't just a coincidence, Zach. It may have something to do with... I may have...
Wait. Stop right there for a sec, Bella. I thought you ain't buying this stuff, Ash. Just the other day, you said the exact same thing.
I still don't, but even Rebecca, out of all people, claims there's something. Whatever this is, someone has got to look into it. Everything about this screams shady.
Are you sure you even have the time? Ain't you busy with your current case?
I got taken off that one.
You didn't say you were taken off your case.
I just got the news this morning. Apparently the higher-ups think I'm doing a horrendous job at it. It doesn't matter though. If these two cases are connected like I initially thought, then regardless, I'm on the right track.
Are you sure we should even be doing this?
Doing what exactly?
There's someplace we'll visit after this.
Too vague for comfort, Ash. And please don't tell me you're bringing her with you.
His affirmation comes in the form of a stare, but that alone says all I need to know. What I pointed out gives him a pause, though, and his voice is thick, with hesitation when he addresses Isabella.
You know what? Zach's right, Isabella. You don't have to come with me.
It's not myself I'm worried about. It's you. I'll just do this myself, if it'll get you into more trouble with your superiors. At least I can make up an excuse why I need to be there.
Don't be ridiculous. You're not walking in there without me. Besides, I think it's a little too late to back out now. Have you two seen the news this morning?
I haven't, actually. Mama called, and I was busy.
The change in the air around her, while small, cannot have gone unnoticed, and it takes every willpower not to ask. Probably the only thing reigning in my curiosity is the fact that Ash himself haven't brought it up either.
No problem. It should be in the afternoon news as well.
Ooh, okay. Another victim by the Ash and Anthem Butcher. News update, man burned after room catches fire. Help me. He grabs the remote and cycles through numerous channels until he gets to a news report about another guy who has been found dead in the early hours of the morning today. We don't know this guy. Burned alive this time. Oddly, no fire has spread, and whatever damage has been contained within the place is body found. The room itself, however, has been completely vandalized. Help me. Another murder, authorities claimed. Isabella and I knew better. None of us shifts, even after the reports end, but the room has suddenly felt stifling. Ash's eyes have gone, hooded with what appears to be a restrained anger, and the remote of his hand cracks mightily under his grip. The stone in the back of my stomach, tiny little thing gripping at my insides, growing with every passing second as the dread sinks in. In the thick of it, Isabella's voice is the one that breaks the hush. A small, weak thing on its own that wavers unevenly between words, but every syllable heavy with meaning.
This is because of that thing, isn't it?
Wait, sorry. Totally.
This is because of that thing, isn't it? I did this somehow.
When it fades, all that's left in the air is her doubt and fear, while all we can do is to cope. Is there something I can say to make her feel better? Stay silent, we can still fix this. Well, I'm gonna say we can still fix this.
It ain't too late. We could still fix this. There's 3 of us here. 4 if you count Rebecca.
No, she's staying away from this.
Okay, they both liked it. Okay. I just realized there's a plus sign next to their name, so I actually know what it was that affected them. She lifts her gaze at me, eyes steady and shoulders squared as she holds it against the baffled look I give her. Although in the next second it immediately softens and takes me by surprise nevertheless. In those brief moments, it's like I faced a different person.
I don't want to involve her in this any more than I already have.
I already said it. That's completely out of the question. Stop asking.
Still in all, that's 2 extra heads who can do the thinking. Between us three, I'm sure we'll figure something out pretty soon.
Don't make this whole thing sound like it's a piece of cake to deal with.
It ain't. But better than sitting around, yeah? Plan is still a plan.
You're going to shoot yourself in the foot one day with that kind of thinking. We don't even know who's doing this. The last 2 murders might just be similar incidents done by 2 different suspects.
Hasn't stopped you from going after them before. Remember that time when you...
Okay, stop right there. There will be no retelling of that incident today, Z-Man. Or ever.
Keep calling me Z-Man and maybe I will.
Suddenly Isabella laughs. Though muffled by her hands, it rings light and easy against the thick tension in the room. Still a far cry from the usual tear she carries, but brings a welcome shift in the otherwise dreary mood.
Thanks, you two.
I'll tell you about it when he's not around.
Give it up, Z-Man. She's not interested.
Who says I'm not?
Ash makes a face but chuckles at the jest despite himself.
Why am I even friends with you two?
And like this, most of our worries ebb away, if only for a few moments. They take their leave mere minutes close to sundown. But regardless of light and mood, little has been said of their plans, only vague hints of what they're aiming to do after. Well, it ain't any of my business to know. Something about this whole thing still gnaws at me. A tiny passing thought urges me to do something as well. At this hour, the streets are once again busy with people heading home after a hard day's work. Little of the bustle matters to them as they step out on the crowded walkway, however. Ash especially. There's only his goal in his mind, and I wager there's nothing I can do to stop him at this point. He's probably decided on it long before they made the decision to drop by. But despite this, Isabella lags behind. Whoops, sorry. A worried crease is back on her forehead as she watches Ash leave to get his car.
Something wrong, Bella?
No, Actually, can you check on Becca for me after this? I really didn't get the chance to tell her where I'm headed off to. Tell her I'm okay and No, just that. That's all.
You sure I should skip on that part? If she finds out about this, she'll be angry. I don't really want to deal with angry Rebecca. It gives me a stomachache just thinking about it.
Neither do I, but I'll handle it if she gets mad. Just make sure she's safe and tell her to be careful. You too. Take care of yourself.
Almost abruptly, she pauses. The gaze in her eyes hardens as she lapses into another one of those long-distance silences from earlier. This ain't just because the whole fiasco with the letter anymore.
I don't want what happened to Rose to happen to you guys as well.
This one cut deeper. Before I can ask about it, Ashton returns, casually swinging his car keys in one hand and gestures at Isabella.
Come on, we don't have much time. Shirley's waiting.
Who's sure? Oh, right. Don't answer that. I don't want to hear it, you huge dork.
Says the person who gave her stuffed toys names. Batcat? Really?
It's cute. Yours is just weird. I'll see you later, Zach.
She spares me another smile as I watch her walk off. Only now did it occur to me that none of those she gave today ever did reach her eyes. I make a grab for the back of Ash's parka. He staggers briefly before correcting himself and shooting me a confused
Is she all right?
stare.
What? Who's okay?
Isabella. She's been, I don't know, out of it today? Did something happen earlier?
The scowl on his face says it all.
She's actually been like that this morning. I'll ask, but...
Just do me a favor and watch over her. We have no idea what we're dealing with. I don't know what happened to her since the last time I saw her. But from how she's been doing today, whatever it is, it seems like a pretty big deal. Wait, you didn't annoy her again, did you? Because I swear to God, if you did, you've got another thing coming for you.
What? No. Why would I?
I'm just asking. I'll take your word for it. But if you can find out what's bothering her, that'd be nice. Honestly, I don't think it's the letter this time.
I'll see what I can do.
Make sure you keep yourself out of harm's way, alright?
Yeah, you too. Don't do anything reckless again.
Reckless, no. But I can't make you to promise I won't do anything. After seeing that, there's no way in hell I'm going to pretend there ain't a problem when there is. This is a really big one, and I'll be damned if I let anything happen to you guys while I sit here. I'm done running when things get tough.
He's about to argue for a moment, but
Look, bro, if things ain't good, I'll be the first one out. But allow me this one thing, aight? Just this one time. If it doesn't work out, you'll be the first one to know. You can laugh then, or berate me all you want, but please don't ask me to step aside like I'm incapable of doing anything to help.
I have no idea if it is the look on my face or the tone of my voice. Ultimately, although his mouth presses into a thin line, he nods.
All right, stay safe, Zach.
When he stumbles into the sidewalk and allows the afternoon crowd to swallow him whole, I like to think the tiny gleam in his eyes is the closest we can get to optimize in this situation. Whether that alone will be enough to give me a peaceful sleep tonight remains to be said. October 30th, Sunday. I can feel a jump scare coming on, 'cause it is nighttime. Yeah. Upon returning to his apartment, Zachary was greeted by Ashton and Isabella. Now suspicious of what was happening, Ashton informed Zach that he and Isabella will try and get to the bottom of this. He also warned Zach to be careful. Night falls, and despite my best attempts, sleep continues to elude me. With her image still stuck in my head, flashing every few moments, it catches me off guard. With Ma's lullaby still echoing in my ears, no longer the soft tune it once was. And the terrible gnawing at the pit of my stomach, it's no wonder I can't bring myself to drift off even for a little while. It is not as if there's a complete lack of things to do while waiting for sleep to come, if it ever will. And at 2:45 in the morning, I find myself cleaning my photography equipment for no other reason than just to pass time. Though if I'm going to be honest, it's not the night terrors that are keeping me wide awake tonight, but the anxiety and the hope I'll hear about Ash or Isabella soon. And for what's happened, the 42nd time, my eyes shift over to the end of the table where my phone lies still. I've not heard from them since I left. They haven't promised to call, of course, but a small part of me wishes they would have the common sense at the very least. Waiting is a tough game, and with the concerns stretching out, the minutes far longer than usual, it's impossible for more unpleasant thoughts not to enter my mind. Moreover, it does not help that when the clock finally strikes 3, my hand stills, and creepy. It'll be complete and utter lie to say my heart didn't leap straight to my throat in that brief second. My whole body has gone motionless, ears straining for any further sounds. A couple of 10 seconds pass. Nothing. Of course, with how old the building I'm staying in, power fluctuations ain't nothing new. Every now and then this would happen, leaving a few tenants in a rather bad mood. Nothing unusual anymore, just after a few years of living here. But this time the sudden hush brings in with it a stillness that raised the hairs in the back of my neck and set my heart beating hard against my chest. Something reeks in the air, and in an instant this place is no longer home. It's a prison. Every rational fiber in my being screams at me to leave. I force myself to swallow and keep a clear head as I lie down all the cleaning tools and begin gathering together the rest of my things scattered around on the table. The camera's body, lenses, filters, diffuser, phone, anything my hand could reach, but in a resulting panic, oh, shit. I am going to save. Like in the nightmares, it is the scent that reaches me first, a foul, putrid smell filling my lungs with a heavy stink of death. My fingers clamp tightly to the camera, holding it closer to my body, as if the tiny thing would provide enough protection to whatever is with me in this room. It won't. but it's the only comfort I have. And knowing that whoever she is, she had once been human. Perhaps not all of it is gone. Perhaps some of it is still there.
Hello? I know you're in here. What do you want?
Something moves behind me, a soft scuttling over the walls, followed by the squish and painful cracking of what can only be rotten flesh and broken bones. Without hesitation, I roll around my fingers, my camera ready, patiently waiting for another moment.
I can help you. Whatever it is that keeps you here, I can help. That's what the letter's for, ain't it? You don't have to keep taking people's lives.
There's a brief moment of silence after, and for a short while, I think my plea worked. That's not unsettling more than the screeching. That's goddamn. Then with no warning, what the fuck? Then with no warning, the shuffling resumes, and along with it are sobs of a woman. Whoop, doop, 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 boop, boop, doop, doop, boop, ba-da-da, boo, ba-da. Okay. Alright. The bitch. Light flashes fleetly one last time, allowing me a glimpse of her grotesque, misshapen features before it is once again lost in the darkness. All of a sudden, her tone changes, no longer a soft cry, but a high-pitched shriek brimming with fear, grief, and anger. Every ounce of courage I've mustered flees from my body at the sound, and the next thing I know, my hand is gripping the knob and I'm wrenching the door open. Her wails follow me as I flee into the night. Pacing has always been more of Ashton's thing than mine. When I want to think, I sit and let the minutes tick by until an idea comes to mind and my pulse settles down. Yet, dried leaves and twigs crack under my shoes as I make another pass at them. Terror is too mild to describe what this is. There's no way in hell I'm going back. Whatever she is pleading won't work. The moment she saw that letter, she's been after
But I
us.
can't run. Not this time.
Nearly 2 hours have gone by since I left the comfort of my home for the solitude of the park. Oh, he's calling Ash. Alright. I thought Ash was calling us, and I'm like, pick up the fucking phone! No. 2 excruciating hours since I've started making calls. No one's answering. Not even Rebecca, who's always kept her phone line open in case other people need her. Okay. Or Isabella, who frequently checks hers for any messages and readily responds as soon as she can afford. It does not help that Ash hasn't said a word where he went off to as
Damn
well.
it! I knew I should have asked him before I let him leave.
Knowing him, he can be anywhere. But there's really only one place he'll likely be at this time. The sun has already peeked over the horizon when I make it to her mansion. I have no idea what I'm expecting to see when I get there. There's Ashton, first and foremost. A part of me wishes my assumptions are correct, and he's really somewhere close by on a stakeout. I've never been the lucky sort when it comes to that kind of guessing. Even after I've made a round of the immediate vicinity, I would find neither hide nor hair of him. Calling him does no good either, considering how awful the signal here is. He can't be too far if he's really here, but if he is, he would have already noticed me by now. Instead, there's only silence, the kind too quiet to find any kind of sort of comfort in. Even the trees seem to have fallen asleep with the rest of the mansion, oblivious to what's happened around it. A small island of stillness in the otherwise fast-paced world. No wonder the whole Salem feels at odds with the rest of Luxborn. While the city is alive, growing every minute, breathing every second, and pulsating with a life, the village remains unmoving, unchanged. It's not surprising the legend still lives up to this day and why she's still here, walking its hollowed halls. And beyond me, the mansion looms wow. Ominously. Okay. I now ain't the time for fear. And if Ash is not here, I've got to let the Wrights know what I've seen, what's in their home. Whatever grievance Ash has with them doesn't matter. And there might be grounds for imprisonment, but there does not deserve a brutal death at the hands of one malicious spirit. I'm sure Isabella would want the same thing. I head straight to the doorway without a second thought. It takes a few rings, the sound loud above the foreboding stillness before I hear footsteps on the other side.
Gordon Bennett, only a Nancy would knock at such an ungodly hour.
Oh, fuck you.
Where's that damn butler when I need him?
Oh, fuck you. Okay, can I comment that he has like a dark aura around him? Just making that comment. Before long, the door swings widely open with Mr. Luke Wright standing behind it. Seething would be a complete understatement to describe him. Like this, I've got no doubt why Ash would find him a suspect.
You? How the hell did you get in here? What in
you.
7 hells do you want? It's bloody 6 in the morning!
Listen, sir, I know this is not a good time.
Oh, it's not a good time. Did you even check the clock before coming here? I bet you didn't. Unlike you, the ones living in this house need to sleep. Come back when people are actually awake, or I'll call security on you.
Before I can get a word in, he slams the door to my face and bolts it shut with much finality.
Wait, sir, you gotta hear me out. You're both in danger if you stay in there. Have you seen the news lately? Everything's not a coincidence.
Only silence answers me. Maybe if it was Miss Wright, of whom I can... There are limits to how far a person will believe in you. Then again, I didn't believe Isabella when she warned us. Now I'm here, desperately trying to save people, even if I'm aware it's completely out of my capacity to do so. Is this what they call karma? If so, this is one horrible way of turning things around. Taking people's lives, playing with people's fears, making them feel useless.
You're around, ain't you? You here? Inside this house? Listening, watching, or whatever it is that you spirits do? What did they do to you? I can help you, you know? If it'll let you move on, I'll gladly do so. You don't have to kill anyone.
Nothing. I don't even know who I'm talking to or if a sand person is supposed to be doing that. The only thing I got after is a feeling of foolishness washing over me. Or perhaps this is just me losing my mind. Out of other options and any other ideas, I let my hand slide off the door's surface and fall listlessly to my sides. I can go back to Lixmorn, try to find the others, try to get out of this mess with them. Or let them know how much in a deep shit we are. Both sound good. Either way, my loitering here ain't helping at all. I let the quietness calm me for a few more minutes before standing up and heading out to fetch my bike. It's quite a distance to Lixmorn, but if I hurry, I'll reach an inn, maybe. Stops. The rustling stops as soon as I turn around and strain my ears for any other movement around me.
Yo, Ash, you there?
No answer. If he is here, I just missed him earlier. Already my feet are moving in search for him for the second time. It won't hurt to double check. Triple check, even. With how big the property is, he can be anywhere. If things ain't so urgent, if there ain't so dire that lives are at stake, I'd probably just waited for him to show up again.
But damn it! He needs to realize what exactly it is he's dealing with.
That is not just a petty criminal he can simply throw in jail. That is something beyond the authority his police badge could ever give him. The guy needs to stop playing the big damn hero, sit down and chill. My breathing comes in short, shallow rasp by the time I make it back to where I started. Still no sign of him, and I'm beginning to think I'm just wasting my time here. But that is when I hear it. I'd recognize the melody in my heartbeat. Ma's favorite song. I listened for a while, trying to gauge where exactly from the house it's coming from. My feet starts moving before I can stop them. And there is a circle corner in a room on the first floor. A single window is open, but I can't make out whoever's inside. whoever I'm sure the singing comes from. Still, why I'll hear an old tune here of all places, I won't know. It's not an obscure song by all means, but it's pretty rare to find someone who knows it. And for some reason, death seems to follow this song around. That sounds like bait. Panic lodges itself at the base of my throat at once. Whoever's humming might be. I don't want to be the pessimist here. Pessimist now, but on the off chance that it is Miss Wright. Yeah, no, it's not.
Shit.
She's possessed. Let's not do that. I shouldn't just barge in there. I can put myself in danger before I can save anyone. Ash will tell me so in the exact same words. Might even write me a dissertation? Why that is a bad idea if he ain't so lazy. But damn it, god damn it. Someone could be in danger. No, I am not. I would fall for like the easiest horror movie trope if I walk in that window. I'm gonna keep looking for Ash. Bye, bitch. And the rational part of my brain wins out. The half that has spent too much time around Ash is right, though. The reasonable part. If I do force my way in and find something unpleasant, how am I going to fight back? With my camera? No matter where you look at it, that's simply asking for a painful death. Duh.
I have a better chance if I find Ash. Why is he snooping about?
Perhaps I should try the forest? Make a round further into the gardens? Not a sound plan, but it's better than nothing. Better than going in the house. The women's soft sobs have subsided now by some means, almost inaudible to the point where I'm wondering if I truly heard what I heard. I didn't get to dwell much on it, though, because right at the moment my phone rings, the sharp notes cutting piercing through the thick whatever that was. I clamp a hand over it, pressing the button before the speakers are close to my ear.
Are you?
I only caught the tail end of the person's greeting on the other side, but I know the voice well enough.
What was that, Ash? Could you repeat that? Signal's shitty here.
I asked, where are you? Hell, Zach, I've been calling your number for a good 20 minutes now. What kind of shithole did you get into?
Good morning to you, too. I should be asking you that question. I've been looking all over the mansion for you. I thought you'd be...
What mansion?
Do I really need to answer that?
Why are you even... No, wait. Just get your ass here at Isabella's place in her...
Oops, sorry, I keep cutting off words. I shift my gaze into the mansion, specifically at the window I heard the cries from. There's nothing of it now, not even echoes.
How urgent is this?
Pressing enough for you to stop asking questions and get yourself here. Please, Zach.
That gives me a pause. It's a rare thing for him to take that tone.
I'll be there in a few. An hour or two, tops.
Thanks. I'll see you.
I rush back to my bike as soon as the call ends. Without another look, I leave the mansion along with its haunting melodies and grim echoes behind. There are more important things than my own curiosity and impulses. I'm really sorry about the weird southern twang I'm having right now. I usually am not very good with accents, but I don't know, something about Zach brings it out. A terrified Zach went looking for a Ashton in the Ermengarde mansion, but to no avail. He also tried to warn Luke about the spirits supposedly even living in the house, but was simply turned away. As he was going to give up, he received an urgent call from Ashton, ordering him to head straight for Samwell residence. That's Marianne.